Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Taking notes with Mr. Jankowski. We're in our math notebook, page 101. We're talking about lesson 12.2, independent and dependent variables. We talked about independent and dependent variables a couple weeks ago when we first introduced all of this information. So you've probably heard about this, but we're going to take more detailed notes today. So first, we're going to talk about the independent variable. And I'm going to remove this blinder here. The independent variable is the input of a function, a variable whose value determines the value of the output or the dependent variable. So this is the part of your problem or the question that you might be solving that does not change and that affects the output of the answer or affects the answer, affects the output of the situation. That is the independent variable. Now, I'm going to show you the dependent variable here as well. This is the definition straight out of the book. The dependent variable is the output of a function, a variable whose value depends on the value of the input or the independent variable. So I'm going to take a little bit of time here to circle some very important words here. This independent variable is the input, the information you need to include to get your answer. And the dependent variable is the output, the information you get out or the data you get out from the answer, including the independent variable, when including the independent variable. And to give you an example, again, we have this here. Let me remove this blinder. So the example the book gives you is for y equals 2x plus 1, y is the dependent variable, the input is x, and the output is y. So y is the dependent variable in this case. And you can see y is what, if we plug in a number for x, we can solve this expression and it's going to give us the answer for y, the dependent variable. The answer here is dependent on x. So I hope this makes sense, but remember, if we're going fast, you can always stop, rewind, go back and check it again. And remember, these notes are saved in Google Classroom as well, so you can take a look at the notes after watching the video too. Now, let's scroll down a little bit further. We have some information here. It says changing the independent variable causes change in the dependent variable. So when you change something with the independent variable, the dependent variable is going to change as well because it's dependent on the independent variable. So let's go down and complete the sentence here. It says the blank variable depends on the blank variable. Y is the output and depends on what you put in blank. So what we're going to write here, and I'm going to do this in black. The blank variable depends on the variable, blank variable. So I can say the dependent variable depends on the independent variable. Y is the output and depends on what you put in X. Okay, and we're going to give you lots of examples here as we go through these next few days. Let's scroll down a little bit further to another example. We have this girl who's talking on her phone, and as you know, it's not so much anymore, but it used to be with older phones, especially the more time you spent on the phone, the bigger bill you had at the end, especially if you're calling long distance, if you're calling another country maybe. So you can see that this girl's talking on her phone. This is the independent variable. So she's talking on her phone. It might be 5 minutes, might be 10 minutes, might be 20, might be 40 minutes long. Depends on how long she talks. But her actions here, this is the independent variable, directly affect how much the bill's going to cost, the dependent variable. Okay? So the independent variable affects the dependent variable. Okay, so that's an example for you. Let's scroll down a little bit further and let's see if we can answer the questions below. So it says your cell phone bill depends on how many minutes you use. Write your own example. So, what do we have that depends on something else, right? So, I could say something along the lines of, um, I could say the distance. Let me change this. The distance I ride on my bike depends on how much time I ride my bike at a certain speed. At a constant speed. Okay. And I want you to come up with your own example. In this case, the independent variable. In this case, the independent variable is um, how much I ride my bike or how long I ride my bike for. And the dependent variable is how far I traveled on my bike. So in this case, the independent variable, how long I ride my bike, the dependent variable about how far I travel on my bike really depends on how long I ride my bike for. So the independent variable is how long I ride my bike, and that determines how far I travel on my bike. I hope that makes sense. What we're going to do is give you other examples throughout this unit, and this is the only the first page of notes. I'm going to make another video for page 102. So remember to watch this video several times if you need to, and remember that we're also going to be giving you plenty of examples about independent and dependent variables. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.